What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining me once again. Today, we are starting a brand new series on the channel. Life is full of what ifs. What if I had left that stove on that night? What if I dated that girl in middle school? What if I had actually passed that test? Pro wrestling is no different. And this series is going to take a look at some of the biggest what ifs in wrestling history. The way this series is broken down into 3 parts. The first one tells a little bit about the history of the two competitors and what would cause them to collide. The second part is fantasy booking it and trying to figure out what would happen to get these two people to the point of fighting. And the third part is to play an old wrestling game, set each player to their highest difficulty rank, and face them off one-on-one to see who would be the better man. In honor of the Royal Rumble that happened this past weekend, which Randy Orton winning, how did that happen? We are going to be taking a look at one of the best Royal Rumble competitors of all time and somebody he's never fought before. I'm talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. Back in the late 1990s, Stone Cold Steve Austin ran roughshod over the WWF, and he became one of the 2 top faces of the Attitude Era next to The Rock, winning multiple championships and setting the standard for the WWE. In 2002, his career was starting to run down, and there was one man he had still not faced yet, and he was known as the next big thing. Brock Lesnar, by this time in 2002, was a relative newbie, and he was built as the next big thing in wrestling. He was a former NCAA champion at the time and would come on to become a 4-time WWE champion and win a UFC championship. And at this point, the WWE knew that, so they wanted to position him as the top guy in the company. How could they do that? Well, having him fight a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. A match was set up between the two, Brock Lesnar and Stone Cold Steve Austin in 2002's King of the Ring tournament. It sounds like a really good match, but it was given away with no build-up, and it was live on Monday Night Raw, and it was the first round. You would think they would build up to something like that, and apparently Stone Cold thought the same. So he said that it really should have made more sense to put that match later on to build up to it to make him a big star. Stone Cold knew what his name was worth and how much it could do for Brock Lesnar. He had no problem putting him over, except it was on free TV. And when no alternative was put in place, Stone Cold took his ball and went home. He quit the WWF for quite a period of time and was gone until the very tail end of his career in 2003. However, that was not the only time a confrontation between these two was teased. Stone Cold Steve Austin had a recent Stone Cold podcast last year with Paul Heyman. And when Paul Heyman and Stone Cold had a point when they were talking about a potential match that could have happened between the two, something started to change. Stone Cold was talking more in character, and so it led a lot of fans to believe that this match, even after Stone Cold's retirement, was a possibility. But alas, he stayed retired, and Brock Lesnar did not fight Stone Cold, so we never got to see that match. Arguably one of the biggest matches to have never happened, the big question on everybody's mind now is what would happen? What if Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Texas Rattlesnake, fought the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar? And that is it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2, where I take a look at how we can fantasy book it to get these two wrestlers to fight. And stay tuned for part 3, when I put Stone Cold versus Brock Lesnar in a wrestling game to see how accurate this would be and who would win. Who do you think would win? Let me know down in the comments below, and make sure you thumbs up this video if you think I've done a good job so far. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down in the corner and also hit the bell next to it so you can be notified first for any new videos from Wrestle-MaGiC Podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you guys soon.